So now that we've added Michael to a program, we're going to need to add a case note. Some of the dates on this are going to start to get a bit messy because I'm recording all of this in one sitting, where you would ordinarily expect, of course, that you would receive the referral on one day and you may conduct an assessment another day, and then he would be placed in emergency care perhaps a couple of days later. And so this will be much more compacted, but the principle should still be pretty clear. So at the moment we have no case notes in our case note list, so we're going to click Add New Case Note. And what we see is that our case notes are tied to our domains. Now, in the assessment form, we saw that all of the fields had to be completed before we could move on. That's not the case when filling in a case note, because it may be that a case note that we enter only relates to one particular issue. So let's put in our date and who's present at the meeting. So we have well, we'll start with Michael since he's our client, and we have Chris, and then we have our EC carer who's looking after Michael at present. And so what we're then going to do is, after we've had our conversation with our carer, we enter into here what was done and what was said. So we're assuming that we have ensured access to baby formula to feed Michael in the short term. So we'll give that a tick and we'll say provided formula to Michael's carer. And we can discuss with the carer the feeding routine and put that in place. You would normally hope to be seeing some slightly more in-depth case notes than this. I'll keep it brief for the sake of this video. So we've already contacted emergency care staff because we've actually arranged a placement. That should be a case note all of its own. In this case, we'll just put that in as it stands. See above, because these two are related to the same task. And now we've got to secure a medical assessment and recommendations from hospital staff and establish a medical care routine. So we'll say we've done both of these things, and we will say provided copy of assessment to carers and discussed with them needs for Michael's, I can spell, ongoing care. Emotional health, social behaviour. Begin process of assessing options for long-term care. So this is done. Sorry, no, this is not done. This is a different thing. So we have arranged Michael's FC placement, assessment for ongoing placement, not yet complete. So we're going to leave this one unchecked. Performance work and education. Consult with ABLE staff to determine course of action. Connect ABLE staff with carers to provide support in future interactions. Not done yet, but we will have advised the carers that ABLE staff will be in contact. And then we're going, if we wanted to, we could add another task here, and that behaves just like it did in the assessment, but for now I'm going to leave that alone. So we hit save, and now we've got our case note that we've just entered sitting here so that we can go back and read and see what was done when, who discussed what, who was there. So let's say that later in the day we actually do speak to our ABLE staff about getting in touch. That would be a good time to add another case note. We can scroll down. We see that these are not yet completed, so we tick and tick and say spoke with ABLE manager and provided contact details re Michael. ABLE staff will be in touch with carer, and then we can save that. And so now we have, oh, I forgot to enter this information up here. So we now have multiple case notes, and so we can scroll back and view previous case notes and scroll forward. The only way to enter a new case note is to scroll to the bottom of this menu. Now, in theory, of course, a staff member can just quickly whip down there and hit new case note, but hopefully if they enter the case note browser and they see this old case note sitting here, it reminds them of the other things that needed to be done before they hit new case note. So if we go back, just to quickly show the impact that that's had, we see we've got 2 case notes now in system, 1 assessment, and we only have 1 active task still sitting here. And if we click in here, we see it's because we haven't yet begun the process of assessing options for long-term care. That's still ongoing. But that's not due until September 21. We know that process takes a while, so that's okay. So that takes us through all 3 of our key case management tools, as well as shows how a client can be added to different programs. Feel free to have a play with that on your own. I don't think I need to walk through that too much more. I think it's fairly clear. But we will just have a quick look at the surveys form down here and the government reports.